Can you skip? I'm sorry. Can you skip a little more? Like my computer's on the edge. And
Yeah, that works. It's recording now. So
okay.
I guess we're just reviewing our code to see how it all stacks up and see how your code is better than our code.
Not true. Opposite.
So let's see. What do you do at first? So we start off with like declaring constants. What do you do?
We didn't do that. We declared everything before we used it.
Okay, right before you used it.
Or right before big loops where it would not be inherent inside it.
Oh, so you wanted to like kind of keep it so it doesn't go back up to like the top level.
No, we will. That's why I'm saying we put it right outside the loop, so it would be like we didn't want that.
Okay, that makes sense. So it would kind of go away once that level was done. I forget what the term.
No. I'm saying, but it's not like that. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like we did it how you did it. We just did it in order where we used it instead of at the top.
Okay, makes sense. How was that?
It's good.
Let's see. So we have this big giant do while loop at the very beginning of what we do, and you have a while loop. So do you have to how does the while loop work?
So the way we did it was kind of confusing, and it could have been way easier, but we misunderstood what they were talking about at the start. When we read it, when in the first step when it says to check for invalid selection, we thought it meant like if they pick anything besides 3 and not anything besides 1, 2, 3, 4 as invalid. Like just that's the way we read it. We both thought that. And because of that, that's how we wrote the beginning of our code, and it influenced the whole rest of our code and made it really complicated. And we didn't realize that's what it meant until the end. And so that's why we have like the first start in here, like the output stuff and like getting the user input. And then we go into the while loop, and we had to do a bunch of, it took us a long while to make sure it outputted correctly if they put invalid input, because this stuff up here wasn't in the loop, which caused a lot of problems. So that took us a long time at the end to figure out how to get it to work, and we had to use the TA's help and stuff. But honestly, if we just if it was worded different, I think we would have been okay.
So it works pretty good. What was your solution to the TAs helped you guys with? Did you put the thing at what's the bottom of your loop do?
Well, there's lots of things that helped us with, honestly. The very bottom of our loop is this.
Okay, so it goes back through like the CN that you guys had at the very beginning. That's nice. I like that. So then it just goes. One thing I guess we found that was a struggle for us is that we had a lot of variables that we used. We cleared them out here, but when we went through our loop, we kept updating them all the time. And so by the time we finished our loop, we got back up to the top, and then we go through it again, and then all of a sudden our numbers are different than what they're supposed to be. So we had to redeclare everything at the start of our loop.
That happened with us too. The TI helped us with that because we couldn't figure out why. It was when we did the path, it would start the path where we ended the last path instead of where it was supposed to start.
Yeah.
And so that caused problems, and the TA eventually helped us to understand that.
Yeah, that was interesting. One thing we did that was interesting for our loop here, so you see for our do while loop, when we get to the while, we, instead of having a variable, we just set our while equal to true so that it's always looping. And the way we get out of that is if we input the break option to get out of the loop, then if we input 4, then we just break the loop. So that was our way of ending the loop in a simple way without having to keep track of an extra variable.
That's cool. Question: when you say, what does continue do?
Continue just takes you right back up to the top of the loop. So if we use continue in this context, it puts out invalid selection, enter 3 to see more options, and then goes right back up to the start of this do up here.
So in this context, you wouldn't need it, right? Because it's at the very bottom. But if it was up higher in the code, then it would break it if you didn't put it up there.
So I guess really, yeah, we didn't need to continue there because it would just go back to the while. But that was like one of the first things we put in, so
Yeah.
we didn't know where it would lie and fall.
And that's a
And the
good
things.
practice because, like, if it was an else if, I mean, I guess it wouldn't do the other stuff. But if you had more stuff afterwards, then it could mess it up.
Yeah, so in this context, it didn't matter at all and wouldn't be any different. And we probably thought about it more. We'd realized that we didn't need it, but it was kind of the byproduct of it being the earliest thing. We used a lot of continues and breaks, which I don't know. We at one point we needed help from the TAs, and they got really confused. So it's probably not the. It probably didn't. It worked, and we liked it.
There you go.
But it was kind of confused. It can be kind of confusing to read. We were also thinking about using a go-to at a certain point, and then we found out that those were banned. So,
Okay.
And they're complex. Let's see. And then, did you guys do your kind of math the same as us?
Yes.
So you had your edge cases. Oh, I liked how you guys did plus increase plus decrease.
Yeah, we just made it so it's more. Just get rid of magic numbers. But honestly, in this situation, it probably wouldn't have mattered that much.
Yeah, that's better than what we did. I like that. I mean, we should take note of that. Let's see, and then this is the money system. You guys didn't do the output right there and then, but you guys set a variable and then did the output later. Okay, where do you guys do your output?
We did it right afterwards, so it would have been the same, except we did it a little different than you. We did it like we didn't assign every single slot because some of the slots were the same. So we just did 0 and 8, 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 3 and 5, and then 4.
Yeah, I like that. That's a lot more concise.
It was kind of confusing though at times. Just trying to test it.
Multi-chips was a nightmare for us.
Same.
Because we had we copied and pasted a lot of our stuff. So a lot of it's the same, but we had to tweak a lot of things. I mean, I like how you guys did it because it seems like it was easier for you guys to tweak it, your code. What really got threw us for a loop was we got to like a certain point, like I think it was here, if invalid input. And we were like, how the heck do we stop? Like, how do we be done with this? And ultimately, it took us a while, but our solution was just to put in a continue. But
so it would go back to the top.
Back to the top. And I think this break here gave us a headache. There was another part that gave us a headache, and we had to do some crazy solution. I think this break, we wanted to use a go-to because we were like, how the heck do we get out of this? We wanted to like go all the way back up.
Yeah.
And we couldn't, so we had to like think of some solution.
I think what we did is we just did an if-else statement, and then we put all the rest of our code in the else statement. So it's just a huge else statement.
That's pretty smart.
All the way until the end of that else if that it was inside. So it would just go to the very end of the program and then re-ask for input if it's the wrong thing.
So that way it was just like already caught at the very beginning. Our issue is we didn't think of it till the end, so we kind of like...
We had a big problem with nested ifs. Like for some reason, like
that's a lot of indentation.
I know. There's so much indentation. Pretty sure we probably lost points from indentation somewhere, but
I don't think so.
After 5 hours, we were done. Like we already searched. It's so hard though. Like, especially like we were using Mac, so we didn't have a visual. We didn't have a what's it called? Virtual
console. Virtual machine?
Virtual machine. So we were just using Xcode. The teacher said we could use that, but it didn't index indent the if statements for us. So that was fun, trying to fix them all.
They all look like they're all done, all good.
They look good. I'm not positive though. There might be a few, but the TAs are gonna have to search for them. Yeah, it's like right here. There's some that are on the same line, but
This menu select gave us the most trouble of anything, which was the simplest part of the whole code besides like this other stuff down here.
mm-hmm.
But like just when we copied and pasted it from the thing up here, there was a misspelling in their code, their output, and then when we copied and pasted it in, because we copied and pasted all of their phrases in so that we get full auto grade points. It had a misspelling, of course,
because so ironic.
Because of gosh dang this thing, show menu option result hidden by your instructor. He had to go to the TAs for help because we couldn't figure out what was going wrong. It's like we had it exactly the way they had it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was just a one-letter typo. It was sad. Is there anything else in these code that's like any different? Because we went through option 1, option 2, option 3, and 4, right?
Looks good to me.
So I think that's that.
Awesome.
Sweet. Bye-bye.